G'day guys, alright, the Glastron ski boat project started the day before Christmas 2019 as a surprise present for my dad. Now it didn't take long for me to realise that it was taking on water. Upon closer inspection, I found cracks in the hull and very rotted stringers. I purchased a grinder and I started cutting out the rot, but shortly after I discovered the transom was also shot to shit. So the transom is the most vital structural part of any boat. I pulled the engine off. Also the rubber rail, which protects the boat from impact when hitting wharves, needed to come off as well. I removed just the end bit of deck cap, enough for me to be able to dig out the transom. Before cutting it out, I braced the boat with the most horrendous DIY strap system that you've ever seen on YouTube. Actually getting that transom out took 2 days of elbow grease. So I made my first purchase of fiberglass, including chop scround mat, acetone for cleaning, and 20 litres of polyresin mixture and hardener. Previous wayward owners had gone ham on screwing all kinds of shit into the stern, which would have been the cause of the transom rot. In making a new 30mm thick transom, I had to join two 15mm sheets. I then made a template using cardboard, a hot glue gun, and paddle pop sticks. I traced the shape of the hull and also cut pieces of chop strand mat. Getting the transom to fit snugly was a tedious task, with several goes in and out of the boat, getting the shape exactly right. In order to guard against transom rot happening in the future, I strategized a process of sealing the bung holes and engine mount area with fiberglass. So I pre-drilled the holes and then plugged them with fiberglass putty. This meant that come time for engine mounting, that there'd be almost no chance of water ingress. It's worth noting that this ski boat rebuild was an extremely messy business, and my housemate at the time, her tolerance for fiberglass dust and grinding noise was beginning to wane. Next on the agenda was to remove the rotten stringers. I bought replacement plywood, the center kill measuring 150mm deep by 45mm wide, and the outer stringers a little smaller. In bedding the new transom, we used a putty-like fiberglass mixture, roughly the consistency of peanut butter. My friend Adam had returned from Korea with the emergence of COVID, and so he began assisting. A quick scuff up of the surface, a clean with acetone, and I could tab in the transom. In layman's terms, this means basically glue the transom wood into the hull. Adam began shaping up the new stringers, and similarly to the transom, they had to go in and out of the boat many times in order to get them to fit snugly. Before bedding the stringers permanently, we decided to conduct a leakage test, so we filled the boat with water and just waited for the drips to come. So we filled up the boat. Just a tiny one, just a couple of drips. Then I pulled the plug. When working with fiberglass and plywood, it's important to seal any timber with unadulterated polyresin. And this ensures the fiberglass has something to adhere to later.
Take extra care about not having your wires caught up in your sander.
After a near-miss electrocution, it was time to bed the new stringers. So I put down a layer of fiberglass putty. You have to work fast with resin as it can dry and set within just a matter of minutes. The outdoor temperature will dictate how quickly the fiberglass will kick off that day. With all three structural supports firmly bedded in, I gave them a quick sand and a scuff before applying the chop strand mat. The term fiberglass refers to a combination of fast drying resins and sheets made of tiny threads of glass fibers. So whilst the initial layer of putty may assist in the stringers to sit snugly, it's actually the application of the fiberglass sheeting which is what provides the strength. very thick waterproof paint. So I've measured out 1 litre, and then you add the same resin hardener that you put in the fiberglass. I mixed up 2 litres of peanut butter putty, and we are putting the floor down. I think we're in. I climbed in on the inside and put a big thick layer of chop strand putty from about there up to there. If you follow me around here, there's a little bit of fiberglass to still be laid in the hole there. A couple of days ago, I put the final layer of fiberglass mat to strengthen the transom. So I'm just gonna sand that down a little bit, finish it off with flow coat so it's nice and smooth, and then we'll move on to the fourth and final objective for the day, and that's the rear cap. Pretty thin, so we're gonna do a layer of fiberglass mat over the whole thing, and when that's dried, probably tomorrow, I'm gonna work on fitting it back in. So just when I thought I was coming up the home straight and all the work was done, enter painting. Adam and I used automotive body filler and fiberglass putty to fill all the major low points. I'd considered using an epoxy fairing compound to level the deck out, but after 10 months spent in the garage, learning yet another new skill was a bridge too far. Again, I used a hot glue gun and paddle pop sticks to build a template for the forward compartment, and I made a bulkhead / speaker installation. On the rainy days, I headed indoors to sand back and polish all the original brass cleats and the windscreen. Okay, I'm 2 weeks into prepping the deck here. And the reason it's taken so long is because initially it was so thin, it was cracking in places and you can pretty well see through it. I applied a fiberglass layer of chop strand mat onto the deck to stop it from flexing under the weight and to prevent future spider cracks. I chose to paint the underside of the boat first to avoid scratching the red deck later. The boat was upturned in the DIY tent for 2 weeks, while 2 of us did almost full-time paint prep. This included sealing the 3 cracks, which were the cause of the earlier water ingress. While the boat was upturned, I could finish off some fiberglassing that wasn't gravitationally possible earlier in the year. Because white is the most forgiving pigment, we were able to use rattle cans to coat the entire hull. 4 layers of primer, 4 layers of base coat, then 4 layers of clear. For painting the top side, I had to buy myself a Wagner 100 electric paint gun. And I do not enjoy wet sanding. Bloody smooth. 500ml of colour spec acrylic automotive paint.
Australian garage boy in his natural habitat.
Fuck off. Sick of your shit.
It's rare to see him away from the television without a beer in his hand. When he is, he's out here in the wild.
I ordered a brand new rub rail, which really made her look like a real boat. Plastic end caps covered up the ugly kinks on the corners. Finally, it was time to throw the forward bulkhead / speaker housing in. Possibly not my best bit of fiberglass work, but we're going to cover up with carpet anyway. Carpet's in, but not stuck down. So, measured out where the two front seats go. They're up an old 90 Riviera. I've made little bases for them. Put a few screws in them. Heads up, you fiberglass the seat frames to the floor and you never ever drill screw holes in that shit. Top it off with a layer of flow coat to seal the deal. I've made a little drink holder for the front. Carpeting was fun. I used a tub of Sikabond contact adhesive to stick it down, and I bolted the drink holder in using brackets. And the second forward seat's going in. Done little pilot holes, and bang, bang, bang. They're in.